Hey guys, my name is Fluff, and if you are new here to my channel, I am the world's most okayest artist and animator. I am most known for one of two things is either my short animations on both TikTok and Instagram, or you have been somebody who's been here during my most embarrassing hardcore Ariana Grande stan phase. Still hardcore, just don't dedicate my whole life and accounts to her now. So yes. Anyway, so I I wanted to kind of make a weekly series for you guys here on YouTube that is a little bit of it's sort of a long form content to share with you guys. That's kind of fun, and it's called Let's Art. And the point of Let's Art is I am drawing or animating something, and you kind of can see the process of me doing those things while I get to talk about it. But anyways, hope you guys keep sticking around for this, and this is something you guys like. But yeah, welcome to episode 0 of Let's Art. Okay, so for episode 0, I want to go through the process of one of my most recent animations. It's already been posted, I think, for a day or two now, and it's the Good Soup one. So I've got the recording here, and initially I was going to like kind of live talk about it while I was animating and realized that, 2 hours of me talking is a bit much. So I kind of am like, I'm just going to pre record it and then sit here and talk about my process. Yes. Anyways, so with this animation, I truly enjoy doing very short animations. Um, it's just quick, simple, and I can give people a lot more content versus you getting a video from me every like 3 to 6 months. My pages, I don't have a team behind me. It's just me, myself, and I do my animations, I do my art, I run my own pages. I don't have management, I have none of that. So it's, there's nobody behind me kind of doing all of this. So the dog in the video is my dog Tank. I wish he was kind of around me right now, but I think he's sleeping under the bed. So he's been featured, I think, in like one or two of my animations. And if you've seen him in the past animations, you'll know that he's quite the derpy dog. So that's kind of the concept of his eyes. They're kind of like slanted and derpy looking because he's just a derpy, like there's not a thought behind his eyes. Initially, again, I do a lot of shortcuts with animations. Now I don't do a lot of custom, like I don't draw a lot of frames because again, I'm just kind of trying to get these animations out, and I like to do anything any way I can find a shortcut. Okay, so I'm a self-taught animator. I never went to school for this or anything like that. So, with Tank, initially, I wasn't going to have him closing his eyes or changing his mouth movements here. I just wanted a simple, quick way to like have him lift his head up and make it look like he was licking my leg. And of course, that never happens because the moment I start getting to animation, I won't like something within like 5 seconds. So I just kind of drew this base head and, kind of went back and forth doing the different motions of like how many frames I want him of looking up. I decided it'd be cuter if he was licking with and closing his eyes every time he was like his head was going up. And then I also decided that like just having his tongue out the whole time wasn't any fun, so I did end up kind of having his mouth open slowly with the tongue coming out and going back into his jaw. The first frame, I just definitely wanted a close up of him and just my character's leg in her towel. I have no reference sheet for neither my character or my dog, which is really bad. And if you are ever looking into getting into animation and you create a character you use often, like I do, I highly recommend a reference sheet. I kind of have one, but that was my character's winter skin color. So I do majority of my backgrounds in my animations. There are a few occasions I do kind of go outside and take pictures or just get stock images off Google and blur it because I'm just too lazy to draw my own background. Okay, so at this point in the animation, you can see I'm kind of struggling with the shadows. And I kind of take the image of my dog Tank and I'm like vertically flipping it and trying to make like a cast, like the flooring is a little bit glass and you can see your reflection in it. And eventually I decided that I didn't want to go that route because I just was complicating it for myself and was like, yep, no, not doing that. Because it took shortcuts because Tank isn't fully frontal. And so I kind of took shortcuts by not completing that line art on his face. So when I flipped it vertically, we don't care. Wave storm tracking team. Anyways, so I tried to flip them and you could see the incomplete parts where I took a couple of shortcuts. And so this is the downfall of like not storyboarding. FYI, I'm not a big storyboard person unless I truly just need to sketch out my thoughts. The next scene is a zoomed out version of me and my dog Tank. I've got my shower cap on and holding my towel. And I just, again, nothing too crazy about this scene. I just wanted a zoomed out look, I guess, per se. I have really nothing to say here. I remember just drawing this out and being like, I have no idea how I'm going to execute this scene. Do I want my character to blink? Am I just going to leave her stoic and still and only focus on my dog Tank? I ended up taking a shortcut again, and I ended up deciding that I was going to leave myself standing there staring at him and only have Tank talking. I went in drawing the bathroom. My bathroom looks nothing like this, by the way. I just kind of was like, how the F do I make the background look like a bathroom? Here I am drawing Tank talking. I was like, how do I want him to talk? Do I want his nose to move up and down? Do I just want to leave his nose alone and just leave his mouth talking? But I just think it would be cuter and make more sense if his nose moved while he was talking. As I'm coloring Tank, I'm surprised I didn't catch this, but as I'm coloring him, I kept thinking the whole time, why does he look so different in this scene versus scene one? And it was literally because I did not catch the fact that I was missing his nose marking. Like I went through this whole thing, he was done. I merged those line out layers and everything. And I caught at the very end that I was forgetting his nose marking and like the white markings around his mouth. And that is why he looked off to me. And I could leave that alone in his actual character design, but I feel like it's very important because there's are like kind of key markings on my dog that are really important, like his nose mark and his whiteness around his mouth too. So I'm going in and praying that this doesn't look silly. At this point, I can promise you I'm praying that like as I'm trying to draw this in on already merged layers that it would work out. And it did. At this point, I'm trying to add effects, lighting, fixing the coloring with all the characters from the background and the foreground and the background. Since everything's so blue in there, I wanted the characters to kind of have a blue tone to them because it helps match the characters and the overall scenery. And sometimes when I'm doing animations, I just really don't care, and that's why I won't have backgrounds in my animations, or I have no idea what type of backgrounds I want. But yes, a lot of my animations sometimes I don't have a thought between backgrounds or anything. And this becomes such a huge downfall of kind of not storyboarding or planning everything out, but I kind of let my brain do it for me and I just keep it in my brain and then just attempt to draw it out, which is not recommended, but it's just my personal process because I've caught myself storyboarding and no longer liking the video idea because I'm somehow burning myself out with storyboarding. Kind of my thought process with this animation, it's 5 seconds long. There's nothing too in-depth about this specific animation that I can go into, but I'm hoping what? I'm hoping that in Let's Art episode 1, I can get into more depth about the type of brushes I use when animating and how I specifically animate in Procreate. Honestly, that's it for this video. It's kind of a little like pilot episode per se. for this series. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, bye.